Welcome back, everybody, to Rob's MetalWorks. We are here at Emo's East in Austin to check out and support a Killer As a tour, and it starts off tonight with the fellas, my Latino brothers from L.A. I have with me the man, Mr. EDDY VELIZ of Kyng. How you doing, Eddie?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you for taking the time this afternoon to chat with us. We're fans of the band, man.
Thank you for being a fan of our band. Yeah.
There's a still, though, I think I was telling you earlier, I'm a Cradle fan. You know, we barely came to know Kyng from your latest release. So there's going to be people out there who are still catching on and wanting to learn more. Tell us a little bit about Kyng, how you guys formed, your history, some things like that.
Same old song and dance. We murdered a bunch of people together accidentally. You know how that works out, and you're like, oh man, we've done something together, and we're like, let's start a band. It's like, oh sure. So that's kind of what happened in a nutshell. We're wanted.
From LA? From LA?
East Los Angeles, yeah.
Wow.
Born and raised. Myself and Tony, my bass player, included our drummers, Juarez, Mexico. So yeah.
So are you guys like old school friends from?
No, you know, it's funny. Tony and I were in a band together back in like 2002, 2004, something like that. And he jumped in a band called, I won't say the name because apparently people get their panties in a bunch when we do. So can I cuss?
Yeah.
Fuck all that. But Tony and Pepe were in a band together, and I think they were just like, hey, you know, let's start something on the side. And Tony was like, hey, I got the guy, you know, my buddy Eddie from this other band that I was in. And, you know, they came home from a tour, and we just started jamming, you know, and I think Falling Down was one of the first songs that we wrote, which is on our first album that you probably never heard.
Right.
But, you know, and it just went on from there. It became a little machine, and now we're slowly but surely making new fans, and our second album came out, and people are kind of learning who we are now, you know.
It seems that I think one of the things that has really attracted people to Kyng is that you guys really are delivering musically something that you don't hear all the time. And I think a huge part of that, of course, is your voice. You have a fantastic voice, man. I dig it a lot, but yet the groove and the mid-tempo grooves and the vibes is, you know, it's kind of like for me, it's kind of like a fine-tuned, you know, rock and roll, and a kind of like a metallic edge to it, man.
Yeah, we kind of pride ourselves in doing like heavier tunes and heavier type music, you know, but you know, it started coming down to like we could all jam, you know. Pepe could play those drums, and Tony could play that bass, you know, and I could play guitar fairly well. You know, you could write a big, heavy, chunky riff and create some fast shit, you know, and be really like, oh, articulate and making shit happen. But you could be any fucking moron in the street, you know, that could growl. Oh, you know, anybody could blow out their voice and do that thing, and you know, I mean, there's quite a few dudes out there who are in bands that have a skill, and they're like, holy shit. But for the most part, man, you could get pretty much anybody in there, you know, to do that voice, you know, as long as they could get it. So we decided, we're like, you know what, you know, to tell you the truth, we had a growler in the band right before, like, we were a four-piece, and as we were doing it, it was like, yeah, that's cool, but that just sounds like everything else that's being put out these days, you know, and we just started kind of going about, and I started like creating melodies and cool little lines that were, you know, trying to make them not sound as flowery as possible. Anyways, but you know, we just kind of we were on to something. We're like, oh, let's do this, you know. We got rid of the other dude, and we just kind of just kept doing that, and slowly but surely we found that we could write any type of riff, if it a bluesy, cool rock and roll thing, or like a thrashy Shoreline type vibe, or Big Ugly Me, which is on the album. As long as we create like this cool vocal melody that has harmonies on top of it, we could do pretty much anything, you know. The vocals will tie it together, you know. So we kind of just started, you know, bouncing down that road, and you know, kind of came up with a Kyng niche of sorts.
Yeah. Your own unique sound, and I think, you know, it's definitely catching on. Yeah. Now, you guys got to deal with Razor and Tie. Yeah. Release your second record, Burn the Serum. Obviously, like we just said, you know, gaining more acclaim, more notoriety out in the marketplace. What do you feel? You know, first of all, I guess how did the deal go down for Razor and Tie? How did they kind of jump on board and help you guys kind of branch out?
Somewhere along the line, we were recording we were recording Burn the Serum, and our label, our old label, something happened, and basically we had to leave or get dropped or however you want to, but they just don't exist anymore, so we kind of we had to do what we had to do and start shopping the record before it even got recorded, and we had a lot of label interest, and they were, Razor and Tie were the ones that kind of made the deal pretty sweet, and they work with a lot of people that we already work with, right, that are already in bed with us, so we're like, well, it's a no-brainer, and things just started happening, and I think we were close to 5 songs in, and they had a guy come out and check it out, and he was like, that's cool, I'll go back and tell the boss, and yeah, and shortly after that we were getting the contract signed and stuff, and that's why it took Burn the Serum so long. It should have been out sometime last year, I guess, but it took a little while for it to contracts to get into play and do all that good stuff, and eventually it came out, and we're happy with it, so.
And the CD came out, everybody, on April 15th this year. Go out there, pick it up, download it on iTunes. Remember, it's called Burn the Serum on Razor and Tie Records. Also, I mean, there's a lot of also kind of really intense topics in your music. It's not really just a bunch of fluff here and there, Dungeons and Dragons. It's really some real life stuff. And in the day and age that we live in now, I think that's even so much more, impactful with people, because, even the young people that are roaming the streets these days, they live because of the internet and things happening in our world, live a very sometimes brutal life. Yeah. And you guys talk about things like that, and I think a lot of people can also kind of relate to the things that you're saying about religion or, some of the bad shit that happens in life. So talk a little bit, I mean, if you had what does Burn the Serum mean? What is the theme of, or the overall theme or concept of what you're trying to kind of convey?
Man, I mean, there's just, the title of the album was going to be Tales of Discord, because there was, as you said, there's a lot of stories in there that are, I'm going to say 90% of 95% are true. Yeah. Everything that I've wrote about in this album is like, real happenings that either happened in my life or happened in someone I know, in their life. So, that's what I was seeing. That's what was happening to me. So I had to get that out. It's very therapeutic that way, when you're able to write about what's happening in your life rather than making up some whimsical story about wizards and battling demons. Like, that's cool too. But, that wasn't in that mind frame at the time. You know what I'm saying? So Burn the Serum in itself, it's definitely, there's a lot of dark lyrical content in it, and some of the happier songs probably have to do with death. Which sound happy. Yeah. You're just not so much. So and in the long run, my brother passed away back in February, and it became more like an homage to him on some level, because there was quite a few songs about him. And
Was he your older brother?
My older brother, yeah. Oh. And he battled with some stuff. So I was able to kind of help myself in ways before his passing, and now it kind of became like a package. Just if you open up our CD, we have a whole little homage to my brother. Sweet. Albert Marquez. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. For all the techie people out there, people always want to know, who you worked with in LA to kind of produce the record, who did, a lot of the production or the pre-production on it.
These two fucking nerdy assholes.
Exactly.
The biggest fucking jerks in the world. No, I love them so much. Andrew Ellical and James Rhoda.
The CD sounds great on the stereo, man.
They did such an amazing job. I mean, quite literally. I mean, I got to hand it to those dudes. I mean, Andrew is a wizard, and Jim just knows the fucking everything. They know everything about rock and roll and metal and music, and they could get anything you want. Whatever you need to know about Kiss, they got it. Whatever you need to know about what fucking guitar and pedal and amp combination, they know, dude. And it's just like, I mean, I thought I knew a lot about fucking useless information, but they have information that's actually useful. So
did you spend more time recording the vocals or concentrating on doing your vocals for this record than maybe what you've done in the past?
No, everything was pretty much the same. The thing that happened in the past, our first album, it was more of like a bro deal, you know, and the guy that we used at that time kind of didn't have the know-how. He didn't have the knowledge of what rock or heavy music needed to sound like, so he wasn't, you know, he didn't have that arsenal in hand. You know, maybe if he was recording Barbra Streisand or something, he would have like nailed it, but for us it was a little, it was really bittersweet when we finally came out with that album, but Burn the Serum at the end, I mean, the rough cuts I listened to like 80 times more than I listened to Trampled Sun. Right. You know, the finished product. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, man, this sounds so good. The roughs were even better. The roughs were, you know, 10, 30 times better, and the final mix is just like,
well, look at that, all that hard work is paid off, man.
Yeah, you know, we're trying to work as hard as we possibly can.
Well, you've been really busy this year. You did like Rock on the Range. We were talking earlier. You did River City Rock Fest here in San Antonio. I mean, you're doing some pretty big things. I think there's people out there who are going to these big radio shows or big festival shows and seeing you guys for the first time and really coming on board because of stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we definitely pride ourselves as a live band. You know, I mean, it's a different world, you know. Listen to our record, it sounds great and it plays well and it feels really good and it tastes really good, but come watch us live, it's a whole different world, you know. We kind of leave it all up on stage, you know, and I have back problems from it now, so.
I think what's also intriguing to people is that you guys are so good live, and people might not anticipate seeing something so impactful from a three-piece band.
Yeah, well, we get that a lot too. People are like, man, I heard your record and it's cool, you know, I kind of like it, but man, your live show, oh, dude, I'm a fan for life now. And you're just like, God, good, you know, tell more people to come out and see us, you know, because, you know, we hit the road and we're out doing our damnedest, and, you know, it's the same handful coming to the shows, and we're just like, yeah, tell your friends, get them out here, you know, otherwise we're dying, you know. I mean, these bands, a lot of bands that are at our level and trying to make something of themselves, who seem to have this like, oh dude, they're a big band, oh dude, they're not, you know, everyone's lying, it's a big facade, they're all full of shit. If you see a fucking rock band out there and they're like, oh, we're rock stars, they're fucking lying. They're not, they're regular people, and they need to go home and get a job because they're fucking losers.
They got bills to pay.
I need to go home and go get a job. You know, where was I going with that? You know, all these bands are like that TV show that you really love but gets canceled because everyone stopped watching it or not enough people watched it. And that's how bands are, you know, like you got to go out and see these bands. You got to go out and buy their merch. You got to go out because your favorite band that you're like just found out about, like, oh, they might not be around next year, you know, because they just can't make it happen. And not that they don't want to, it's because the music world is slowly imploding, so something else has to happen.
Well, they think you're rich and famous when they see badass videos like the one that you guys did for Halo. I mean, that video's killer, man. It looks like a high production type of video.
Yeah, and it was decent. I mean, but let me tell you, man, all that stuff is all bro dealed out, you know. It's like if you have a friend that has a friend that could do some friendly shit, that's what we do, you know.
Well, that means a lot of people, at least in the back end, like you guys personally.
Yeah. There's a lot. We have a lot of friends. We do. We have a lot. We're like, hey, you know, what can we do? And we're like, hey, can you give us a bunch of free shit? They're like, sure. Yeah. Yeah. The video is called Electric Halo. Be sure to look for it on YouTube. It's really killer. And that was the first single for the CD, right? That was our first. Yeah. We haven't had another single off that album, but yeah, Electric Halo's the one so far. So right now you guys are on tour with Black Label Society. Yeah. Obviously, you know, Zach has his loyal fans who are coming to all these shows. And so, again, you know, kind of putting you guys in front of some new people. How's the tour been going? It's been going on since the beginning of July. We're almost in the beginning of August. Yeah, it's almost done. We got about 3 more. Oh, tonight. Yeah, tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, I guess. And it'll be all over. It's been great. This is a really good tour. Zach and the guys in the band are fucking rad. You know, even their camp's super awesome. Their fans are super awesome. Like, we've been, you know, coming across very well. You know, this was a tour that we probably needed a long time ago. You know, management and fucking labels, do your fucking job, because, you know, we needed this one a long time ago. We're doing pretty swell. You know, and we're kicking butt, you know. I mean, gaining a lot of new fans every night, and a lot of Black Label dudes are you know, just like, man, I never heard of you guys. You guys are my new favorite band. I heard you tonight. And we're like, oh, good, you know, still trekking, you know, it's still worth something, you know, and, you know, we're trying our balls off to keep it moving, you know.
What's next for rest of 2014?
So far, what's in the books that I know of, we're doing a Blackstone Cherry next week. Actually, we jump out with them for 2 weeks, and then that's gonna be fun. We like those dudes a lot. You know, they're really nice dudes, and they fucking can play. You know, they know how to fucking play. You know, so that's always fun when you're jamming with a band. They sing and they dance. They're a triple threat. Yeah, they do really well. They're a great band, and we like jamming with them because they play well. You know, there's a lot of bands that we've toured with who just fucking suck. And we, after that, 2 weeks, and then we're out with Chevelle for about a month or so. You know, and we've never toured with those guys. We've never played with those guys, but you know, we're looking forward to that, and that's going to be fun as well. You know, so hopefully we could kindle some more friendships. Maybe they could do, maybe they could do free stuff for us as well.
Yeah. Remember, go to kyngband.com. That's Kyng, K-Y-N-G band.com to get all the info on the band.
Sorry. No, hold on. You know, we're gonna go to Europe soon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's something to mention. I kind of forgot. But we're going out with Antemortem and Lion Eyes on a Lord of the Riff. And, you know, that's going to be real fun.
Maybe the first? Yeah.
It's our first European thing, so that's going to be fun. We'll be out for about a month there, and that'll be cool. And then hopefully we could do a down tour down in Kyng. That'd be rad. Yeah. Another Black Label tour, make that happen. Maybe Megadeth, that'll be cool. Yeah. Some Clutch and Mastodon tours. Make it all happen. Whoever the hell's working for us. I don't even know your name. I don't know
all
who
you people at Razor and Tie.
Yeah, them.
Yeah.
Make it happen, guys.
And the fans, make it happen too. Go out there and buy the CD.
Please.
We want to see these guys out again because they kick ass. Remember, you saw the band Kyng only on Rob's MetalWorks.